It looked overgrown and abandoned, but also snug and permanent, as though growing from the rocks and landforms of an earlier age. I sighed. The dog panted dog slobbers onto my lap, and the kids clamored out. "Take your time," Roy yelled. "Careful, slow down." He was always telling us to slow down, as though he could arrest time and work it backward between his fingers. The big gate wasn't about to open easily, so the kids scrambled over the log fence, and I followed. Peggy trotted in elongated circles with her nose to the ground, pinpointing details for later study. The cabin looked square, and the roof sloped up on all four sides to the center chimney. An addition, which seemed to be an enclosed porch, ran the width of the front, and on its door a rusty padlock held fast. We all had to wait for Roy. "Too bad," I said. "Can't get in. Let's go home." "Oh, Mother," Sam said, the oldest at 9. He was tall and lanky like his father, and he'd already mastered the wry tones of a cynic. "Just kidding, dear. Ho-ho!" I sighed again and looked around. Chipped concrete steps cracked away from the threshold as though shunned by the weathered logs. Wild roses ran rampant. Woodbine formed a mat of star-formed leaves to the right of the bastard steps, and sprays of green tentacles climbed the wall and veiled the windows. I could hear the murmur of the big Laramie just beyond the trees. It was closer here than at the tenant house where we lived. The burbling sound of gentle water lent a cheerful aura in the early evening, and my assessment of the cabin setting moved up a notch. "No key," Roy said. "We can saw off the padlock tomorrow." He tromped past the wild rose bushes that spread under the windows to the left of the door and went on around the house. The rest of us trooped after him in single file, the kids high-stepping through the weeds. The cabin faced east. To its south grew a jungle-like greenery of gooseberries and more wild roses, willows, sapling cottonwoods, and burdocks, through which the suggestion of a path insinuated itself. "Where does that go?" I asked, premonition pressing down on my shoulders. "What?" Roy sometimes had selective hearing, like the dog. "That path," I said, pointing. "Where does it go?" "Oh, that one. Why, I guess that goes down to the privy," he said happily, turning to the double windows on the south wall of the cabin and jimmying on one of the frames. "Privy? You mean there's no bathroom?" My words disappeared into screech and splintery dust as the window yielded. The kids surged through like monkeys. "No more trouble with those modern inconveniences," Roy said, ignoring the look I seared into him. We'd had trouble with plugged sewer lines in the tenant house several months earlier. He boosted me through the window and followed apace, leaving the dog bereft and whining on the outside. We landed in the living room. The other large room in the front was the kitchen, and two smaller ones in the back completed the square. The walls, covered with papered wallboard, made the interior decor conventional rather than rustic. Pity. Double windows in the east wall looked into the enclosed porch. The only exit went from the kitchen door through the porch to the outside. A musky odor suggested tenants other than humans. "Wow!" exclaimed Sam. "Will you look at that?" Across from us, against the interior wall, stood a tall, elegant heating stove, swirled in decorative acorns and oak leaves and intricate doodads. Its four bowed and rebowed legs had claw feet, and it was crowned with an elaborate copper acorn-like bulb, striated and winged in steel. I was impressed. Roy, ecstatic. 8-year-old Frank's interest was more entomological. "Hey, Ma, look at this," he enthused. A black beetle-like bug was crawling along the base.